What's going on, y'all? This your boy Chris Simmons coming to you with another podcast episode, man. Man, I'm doing well, man. Had a wonderful Thanksgiving. You already know what it is. Your boy went home for Thanksgiving, went back to Cincinnati, got to see my family, got to see my parents, my sisters, and a few of my cousins, aunts, uncles, all that good stuff, man. So it was a great Thanksgiving for me. Had plenty to eat. Like I told y'all before, I told you I was coming home with some great food. Mama did her thing in the kitchen. She cooked a famous mac and cheese, which is what I was really looking forward to. She cooks, some other stuff like candy yams, sweet potatoes, corn pudding, stuffing. And then I think she did that. Well, actually, no, my dad did the turkey and the ham. He did the meats, and my mom did all the other stuff. Like I said, she did the mac and cheese, the stuffing, the green beans, collard greens, and the desserts. She made a famous banana pudding, which is what I was looking forward to. She also made a few sweet potato pies. Like I said, I'm not really into eating sweet potatoes. That's just, I know that may be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not really into sweet potatoes, so I don't really eat that. I don't really touch that. But as long as she got the mac and cheese and the banana pudding, that's all I need right there, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And some ham and some turkey to go along with it. But it was just a phenomenal time. I was really in the moment, like I preached 2 weeks ago when I released my episode. I told y'all, I challenged y'all to be in the moment. So hopefully y'all was, trying to be in the moment. I did turn my phone off when the family started to come over to our house. So I was not on my phone because I was trying to be in the moment. I was trying to enjoy, spend time with family because, now I don't really see them as much because, I'm away from a lot of them. So I try to be in the moment, and hopefully y'all, took that time to be in the moment. Hopefully y'all weren't on your phones texting other people because, why do you feel like you need to text other people? Why are you with people already? You understand? If you want to be with that person so bad, you need to be with that person that you texted. So, I took it as a challenge for myself to be off my phone, and that's what I did. I was really, enjoying the moment, enjoying spending time with family, enjoying some really good food, really great food. And I for sure had some leftovers, but they didn't last that long. They probably only lasted like maybe a day and a half, and we already tore it up. But we did have quite a few people at our house. I think we had at least like 20 people at our house. So they was already taking the go plates and already preparing for that. So we were left with you know, not too many leftovers, but we were left with enough for us to be able to have a day and a half left. And then after that, it was currents after that. But yeah, man, it was like I said, I really enjoyed my break. That's why I did not record a podcast last week. That's why, in case you were wondering, you didn't see the podcast, nor did you see my live session, because I wanted to use that time to take a break and be able to just recoup, rejuvenate, and come back, fresh, and just be able to, release, be able to relax my mind. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully y'all got a chance to do that. My book has been published. So I was not expecting my book to come out as soon as it did. I know I was working with the publishing company and they were like, yeah, we were projected to be out by December. So I was thinking it was going to come out next month, but I did not make that announcement um, on my podcast, on my most recent podcast. So my book has finally been published. It is out. Step Towards Your Purpose by Chris Simmons. If you look it up on Amazon, you can get your ebook or you can get a paperback book. So I definitely want you to go check it out. I definitely want you to go check it out. It's not even that long either. It's a very short read, but it's to the point and it has a lot of great words of wisdom, in my opinion. I know my family was obviously the first one to buy it. And then I have my girl Heather. She also bought hers, and a few other people bought theirs. People within my family, a few friends. They've been supporting me. So definitely go check it out, man. It's been out for just a little over a week. It's been out for a little over a week, and like I said, it's a very great read. Like I personally like, what I'm saying. I wrote the book, so I really don't need a copy for real. Now I can get me some author copies and somewhat and so forth. I might actually do a free giveaway real soon. I might give away a free book, free signed copy of my book real soon, depending on what I want to do with that, depending on how I want to set that up. but you might be lucky and you might get a free copy of my book. So definitely, I'll keep y'all updated on that. Uh, so yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot going on, man. And it was just a proud moment for me, man. When I finally got my book published and being able to see how my mom got her copy. I know that she already read it and said it was really good. Of course, my mom is gonna say that, and I know a few other people who's read it and they said it was real good. So I definitely like I said, I recommend you go check it out. And it was just great to be able to see how all that came out, man, because I know that I was, working real hard on it, trying to write it. I know that there was some challenges because, there was times I got lackadaisical. I didn't, want to, there was days I didn't feel like writing. There's days I'm like, man, like, is this even going to be worth it? Is this even going to come out the way I wanted to come out? But sure enough, I trusted the process. I kept going. I did my research, tried to find somebody, find a good publishing company to work with, and boom, here we are. And it's like I said, it was just one of those proud moments. Just seeing my book. I know my mom, when I went home and she got her book, she has it on the counter, so she has it like standing straight up on the counter. So when you walk in the house, you can see that the book is like in the middle of the counter. Just to show people that her son got a book published. And I was thinking about that, man. I was thinking about how, the book is in the hands of, my friends and my family, and, their friends and their family. I'm thinking like, man, I'm really working towards something. I'm really, submitting my legacy, leaving my mark. I remember hearing a preach a sermon about leaving your mark, having leaving something that people can remember. And it just made me realize, how, I got to continue to keep working on that legacy. And that's, one of the things I'm going after is building that legacy, submitting my legacy in this world, being able to leave my mark in this world. And, that's that's what I really want to get into, man, is, trying to leave your legacy, man. What are you doing to leave your legacy? What are some things that you're trying to do in order for, you to leave that legacy? And, for me, I feel like that book, I'm not going to, stop at the book. I'm not going to be content with the book. Maybe I write another one, maybe I write another one after that. But, I'm not going to get comfortable just saying, oh, okay, I got a book out published, I'm cool, I'm set. There's always going to be that what's next, for me. There's always going to be that what's next. And, there's always going to be more that I want to do, more that I want to accomplish, man. And, like I said, like just writing that book just, made me feel like, man, like I got some of my name on it. I can, pass it down to, my future family, and they can pass it down to their future family. It's about, continuing to have that chain effect, continuing to have people pass down your stuff, from generation to generation, man, because I know that when I get my future kids, I'm gonna definitely give them a copy of that book. And then hopefully when they grow up and then get their kids, they can pass it down to their kids, and then their kids' kids, and their kids', and so on down the line. So, it's important to, when you go out every day and you go out and live your life, you want to be able to have, something that you want to leave behind, something that you want people to remember you as, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I do every day. I try to do it with this podcast. I do it with writing books. So, I'm always trying to figure out ways on how to better myself. And, with that, it helps me, take my mind off of a lot of the negative things, a lot of what my pastor was calling I think it was called the pahinas. He was referring to this term in the Bible. If you read First Samuel chapter 1, I think it was, I think it was First Samuel chapter 1, I believe it was, or something like that. Hold on, let me check that. Let me make sure that I got the verse right, because I believe it was in the book of Samuel. It might have been chapter 1. First Samuel chapter 1. There's a term in there that's called the pahinas, and when he was saying about the pahinas was how they're going to be, these factors in your life that are going to try to tell you, oh, you can't do this, you're not good enough for this. There was some of those, on my journey toward writing this book. There was, what I call pahinas, or, these little, or maybe they're people, maybe they're voices, whatever it is that's stopping you from getting to where your dream. You're going to have these pahinas come up in your life, and they're going to try to deter you from doing whatever it is that you want to do. They're going to try to discourage you from leaving that legacy that you want to leave, because they may tell you, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're not built for this. You don't have the qualifications. You don't have the certifications. There are going to be a lot of those in your life. But what you got to do is you gotta believe, you gotta have faith over fear. Come on, somebody. You gotta have faith over fear. And I think I've mentioned that before, but you definitely, let me say that again. You got to have faith over fear. And that was what I had to do in order to continue to keep going all the way with this book, right? Because there were times where there was voices telling me, oh man, you wasting your time. Nobody's gonna get this book. This book ain't gonna be worth nothing. You're not at the place in your life where people know you yet. You know what I'm saying? You struggling in school. You struggle with reading in school. You struggle with writing in school. So there was a lot of things. There was a lot of voices in my head, trying to distract me or trying to deter me from trying to write this book. But what I had to do, I had to believe. I had to see the outcome. I had to picture what could be the outcome if I follow within this book. I had to picture what type of legacy could I leave if I write this book. I had to picture what would it be like if I had this book in every household in America and across the world. What would it look like if somebody who may have suffered from depression or suffered from anxiety, read this book and was able to believe in themselves a little bit more? You know what I'm saying? What if I wrote this book and it was in classrooms across the world, it was in businesses across the world, people recommended this book as a part of, as a good read. You know what I'm saying? What if it got in the hands of the right person who needed to read this book? See, I had to think past, oh, what could go wrong, and I had to start thinking about what could go right. Understand? And until you get past that level, until you get to that level of thinking to where you're thinking more than just short term, we're thinking more than just, oh, what could go wrong? What if this doesn't work? You got to get past that level of thinking, and you have to think, what type of legacy? You got to be on legacy status, right? You got to, be on that legacy status, that Hall of Fame status, right? Because when people get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and this is I'm referring particularly to sports, I'm sure, you've seen sports, you've seen, football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport, there's some type of Hall of Fame that people get inducted to. And usually when their name is in that Hall of Fame, it's cemented in there forever. It's in there. Their name is in the Hall of Fame forever, right? Because in order to get to Hall of Fame, in order to get to that legacy status, they did something that nobody else could have done. Just like with an athlete, like Michael Jordan, obviously in the Hall of Fame, right? Because he did what no other athlete was doing. He was putting up points. He was dropping 30, 40 points a game. Man won 6 championships in a row. So that was unheard of, right? That's something that, no other basketball player has accomplished. And so if you want to get to legacy, you want to get the Hall of Fame, right, you got to do something that nobody else has accomplished. And you also have to be able to believe that you can do what you set out to do. You know what I'm saying? Be able to do it a little better than the average. You understand? Because what I've noticed, okay, now, when I used to play video games, when I used to play games like Madden 2K, 2K, for those of you who probably don't know those games, Madden is the football game and NBA 2K is what we call the basketball game. So there's different levels in these games. So if you play, like, let's say you play an exhibition game, you get to choose a level of difficulty that you want to set it at. So I remember in particularly NBA 2K, they would either have rookie, pro, all-star, superstar, Hall of Fame. And so Hall of Fame is the highest level of difficulty, because when you play on Hall of Fame, you can't just go in there and just, try to make a layup or try to shoot the ball. You have to know what you're doing on Hall of Fame. Because in rookie, when you play on a rookie, when you play on the level of rookie, rookie is more like, okay, that's like a beginner level. That's more like, okay, the computer's going to take it easy on you and they're going to allow you to have wide open shots versus Hall of Fame. If you ain't precise and you ain't accurate and you don't know and you become lackadaisical, the computer is going to take advantage of that. And usually the computer is the one that always takes advantage of the mistakes. And it's a lot harder to play on a Hall of Fame level versus a rookie. And so what am I trying to get at here? When you're trying to reach Hall of Fame, it's going to be difficult. If you just want to be good, then good. If you want to be great, it's a little harder. But if you want to be on Hall of Fame, there's going to be a certain level of difficulty that's going to come with that, right? Because if you just want to be average and you just want to be content with your 9 to 5 job and you want to be content with how you living, then that's fine. Then you don't have to do anything else. You can just basically go through the motions. But if you want to be on Hall of Fame level and you want to get to that level of legacy, you're going to have to go through some obstacles. You're going to have to face some challenges that you didn't think you would face. You're going to have to you're going to face more challenges than the average person who's just content with just going about their day, because you're going to have to face, like I said, like I referred to earlier, you're going to face a lot of behemoths. And the reason is because when you try to submit your legacy, when you try to accomplish something that rarely has been done, it don't even have to be it don't even have to be in the world per se. It don't have to be like, it don't have to be something that the world has never done. It can just be as simple as something that your family's never done. Let's say you want to, build that generational wealth. Let's say you want to go to college. Let's say you want to write a book. Let's say you want to become a musician or a chef or a famous chef or whatever you want to do. Maybe it starts with, it can just start as, start somewhere like in your family. Like you want to be the first in your family to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. But even, you're going to have people in your family that's going to tell you, oh man, why are you doing that? Like, that's too hard. Like you should just get a regular job, just go out and go work. Don't try to, do something that there's no stability. They're going to try to downplay it. They're going to try to talk you out of it, but you have to make up in your mind that this is what you want and you are willing to go after it, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get to that level, of greatness. If you want to be a singer, if you want to be a musician, if you want to be an athlete or a chef, whatever you want to do, you have to make up in your mind that you want to be the first. See, legacy is not necessarily always about, oh, I want to be the first in the entire world. It can just be as simple as being the first in your family or being the first in your circle, right? To be able to do it, because leaving a legacy is something that people will always remember. It makes an impact, right? Just like when I referred to Michael Jordan, people, will try to emulate Michael Jordan's game, or even Steph Curry with his famous 3-pointers. I see a lot of people trying to emulate that type of style of play. Leaving a legacy is something that leaves an impact that people want to go after. Understand? People want to continue to keep the tradition of, right? So if your family, sometimes, like, let's say, like in your family, like you've never, maybe you don't have that generational wealth, and you're the first person in your family to accumulate that generational wealth, or maybe the first person in your family to graduate college. That's going to leave a mark in their family. That's going to leave that legacy. That's going to make, allow that your family to be like, man, like if they can do it, I can do it. Like if I see them doing it, that can give them, that motivation to continue to go after their dream, or give them hope that says, it don't matter where we came from. It's just a matter of how do we go about what we're trying to do with our life. So it can definitely leave a mark in your family, or maybe in your future family, right? I look at my dad, for example. My dad definitely did not come from a generational wealth. My dad did not, he grew up poor. He grew up broke. But what did he do? He continued to keep working. And so the reason why, I'm blessed today, and I'm able to, have some of these, I'm able to be who I am and be able to gain some of the wisdom that I know today is because the most important thing, I had a dad in my life who was able to work hard and was able to break that generational lack where he didn't grow up from a line of wealth, but he decided that he's going to work hard and he's going to continue to break that cycle and be able to start a new generation. So now, when I grow up, I want to be able to continue that cycle, and be able to provide some of the things that I was fortunate enough to see as a kid. And I want to take that a step further, when I go up and have kids of my own. Understand? So it's about trying to change. It's about leaving that mark in somebody, leaving that sense of hope in somebody. When you leave that legacy, it's about leaving that impact, leaving that mark that people will remember for the rest of your life. Understand? And it starts by some of you may be wondering, how do I start building my legacy? How do I get on the legacy level? First of all, it starts by waking up with a purpose. You got to have a sense of purpose. You got to know a type of direction that you want to go with your life. Sometimes just waking up and going through the motions isn't enough. You got to have a plan. You got to be able to wake up and be able to have some type of plan, have some type of vision of where you want to go. And a lot of successful people, I've heard a lot of successful people, they'll have what they call vision boards. Vision boards is not just, okay, I want this to happen, I want this to happen, but it's more about what are the steps that you're going to take to make it happen. Usually if you have a sense of vision, a sense of purpose, you have a great idea of what you want to work toward. If you have these steps and you have all the difficulties and challenges you might face, you're going to have a better time getting to where you want to be versus somebody who just wakes up and is like, well, I'm going to just, see where the wind blows, because the wind may not blow in your favor. The wind might blow somewhere you don't want it to blow. So don't take your chances on, letting your life just be in the hands, just throwing your hands up and being like, all right, I'm just going to see what happens. Don't leave your life to chance. Don't do that. You want to be able to have control over what you can do, being able to have control of your destiny, right? And you have, you don't necessarily have complete control of where you end up, but you can have control of your attitude and your effort. In the Bible, it talks about how, the Lord allows you to have a vision, but he may direct the steps. So you can have a vision, right? You can have a vision of what you want to do. That's a start. But where the faith aspect comes in is, what if it doesn't work out the way you want it to? See, you can control, the fact that, you can have a plan for yourself. You can have a plan. You can write it down. Don't get me wrong. You can control that. You're allowed to, have control over what you want, what type of outcome you want, right? By writing it down and making the vision plain upon tables. Am I talking to somebody? But sometimes, when you go out, I wish I could tell you that when you go out and try to accomplish your vision, that everything will line up just the way you want it to. I would be lying to you if I said that everything will work out the way you want it to, right? Like when you first, when you first, open your business, or you first write your book, or when you first, get into your music career, that everything is going to fall in line. All the checks and all the money is going to fall in line. I wish I could tell you that, but it's not going to happen like that. See, that's why you have to, when you're stepping towards your purpose, or when you're going after your vision, you're going to have a lot of revisions. Come on, somebody. When you're stepping towards your purpose or going after your vision, you're going to have a lot of revisions, right? You're going to have to go back. And sometimes you may have to revise your plan, because God may take you in a direction that you may have thought, man, what was this? I didn't write this down. I didn't write this. Sometimes on your vision board, you'll have something written down, but sometimes it may not go, in the direction that you want to go into. So you have the ability to go after what you want, but sometimes the direction to get there may not line up with necessarily how you want it to go. But, what I've learned is that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason and for a purpose. For the Bible says in Romans 8:28 that for all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose. Come on, somebody. See, sometimes you may not like the direction, but when you get there, you're going to be more thankful for the outcome. Come on, somebody. You may not like the direction that God is taking you, but but when God allows you to get there, you're going to be more appreciative. You're going to be more thankful of the outcome because you're going to realize what it took to get there. See, if everything happened within the straight line, if I was just able to wake up and I was able to achieve something just like that, if I was able to say, all right, I'm gonna go out here and sell 1 million books, I'm gonna go out here and make $1 million in revenue, I'm gonna go out here and be the next American Idol or whatever, I'm gonna go out here and be the next executive chef. If I could do that, it'd be easy. There would really be nothing worth remembering because I could do whatever I want. But the thing is, sometimes the direction, going through the process is the thing that we must have to embrace when we're going toward a legacy status. It's about remembering the process. It's about embracing the process. See, most of us want to rush the process. Most of us want to, make it have stuff happen for us quickly. But what you realize is that it don't work like that, right? You're going to spend more time going through the process versus coming out with the product. Let me say that one more time. I'm going to repeat a lot of stuff in here because I want you to get it. See, you got to realize that sometimes you're going to be spending more time in the process versus coming out with the product. Understand? Because the process is the part that you remember the most. When you open that business or when you write that book, you're going to remember all the work that it took to get to that level. And so what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to have wisdom. It's going to allow you to have knowledge. It's going to allow you to also, be able to help others along the way. I learned that, it's one thing to be blessed, but you also have to learn how to be a blessing to others. That's called being fruitful, which is another term that I learned yesterday in service. It's about being fruitful. It's about being able to give back unto others and being able to teach and help others, be able to, develop into their best self. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we go through this process so we can also be a help to others who are in need. You know what I'm saying? It's like if somebody were to ask me, like, how did you write that book? And I get a lot of questions like, how did you, write this book? How did you, what publishing company did you look at? Like, what was the process like? I could be able to go back and be able to tell them about the process because you can't have a product unless you go through the process. Come on, somebody. You can't have a product unless you go through the process of getting there. See, that's what, allows you to have a story to tell. And that also makes you understand that if it had not been for the goodness of God, if it had not been for having faith and, saying a few prayers and also trusting and believing and also not giving up on the process, you understand how much more valuable that is, and you can take that and be able to share with others. Understand? And you can also help guide people to get to where they want to be as well. See, that's what's so unique about the process, and that also is what's unique about submitting the legacy. Anything in life worth having doesn't come easy, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would be a millionaire. Everybody would, nobody would have to struggle. Everybody would live in a nice house. Everybody would, be rich. Everybody would, have all this stuff, but it's not. That's why they refer to it as the 1%. That's why only a certain percentage of people, and it's only 1%, just 1%, maybe even less than 1%. But I just keep hearing the term the 1%. And it's correct, because 1% of people are really living the American dream, or living not I wouldn't okay, so I wouldn't say the American dream, but they're living they're living out their calling. They're living what God has created them to be, because they chose to remain faithful. They chose to see it all the way through versus somebody who didn't. And that's what legends do. Legends see things all the way through. They don't just give up when something doesn't go right the first time. They don't just give up, when they're not seeing the results. Because, another thing that I heard is that if you focus on the result, you're going to continue to keep getting beat by somebody who's got the heart. Because a lot of us, we tend to focus on, okay, let's get the results. And we get the results, we're happy. No, it's not just about seeing the results. Because if you continue to keep getting results, if you continue to keep focusing on just results, just by trying to get money, or to whatever, then you're going to continue to get beat. And you're not going to really enjoy it. You're not going to really enjoy the process. It's going to take you longer, because you're not going to really have a plan. You're not going to really have, you're not going to really be able to come up with any creative ideas. You're just going to be like, okay, if it don't work, then I'm just going to just do something else that I don't want to do. And that's one thing I've also had to learn as well, is being able to enjoy the process. Not stat watching, not trying to watch the stats all the time, because what's the fun in that? It's like, I want to be able to enjoy what I'm doing, because in anything, you're going to practice more than you play. It's just like, when you play sports and you, okay. So it's like when you try to play sports, right? And you're trying to prepare for a game. You're going to practice way more than you play. That's one thing I learned when I was playing sports. You practice every day, and you probably play maybe one. If you play football, you play like once a week. If you play basketball, you probably play like twice a week, depending on the level you're at. Like high school, you probably play twice a week. College, probably twice a week. And then NBA, you probably play like what, three times, probably like 3 times. But overall, if you add it up, you're practicing more than you're playing. And that's the same thing with anything in life. You're going to be practicing. You're going to be going through the process more than you're going to be actually, performing. You understand? You're going to be having to go through the process, because the process, is what makes the product. Practice is what makes, a product. It makes the player. Understand? Because if you don't practice, how are you going to be able to perform? So in anything in life, you're going to be practicing more than you performing. Just remember that. So in order for you to really embrace the journey, you got to embrace practicing. You understand? Before you actually blow up. Because a lot of people get a lot of misconceptions, especially on social media, where they're seeing somebody, doing good and whatever it is they want to do. And they thinking that, oh, it just happened. Like they just woke up and, all of a sudden there goes the car. Or they just woke up, all of a sudden they living in the house. They're doing stuff that they would love to do. They're traveling, they're living in their gift. A lot of people think that, like overnight they became an overnight success, which is not true. You don't see, I've mentioned this plenty of times about social media. Social media doesn't show you the real. Social media doesn't show you the process. They just show you the highlights. Okay. The person on social media is not showing what they had to endure. Just like when you look at fitness pages on social media, they're not showing you, the process really. They're just showing you, oh, look at me now. Just like that one song by Chris Brown, look at me now. Look at me now. I'm getting paper. That's what they're showing you. They're showing you what they look like now, but they don't necessarily go back and show you, oh, that they had to start somewhere. They had to start at this place. Maybe they didn't show you that they used to be obese. Maybe they didn't show you how, maybe if you see somebody on there squatting like 500 pounds, they didn't show you how they started with the bar and how they continue to progressively work their way up. They didn't show you that they was in the gym maybe 2-3 times a day. They didn't show you none of that, but they just showing you what they look like now. So don't get fooled by what you see on social media. Don't get fooled by what you see on TV. There is no such thing as an overnight success. There is no such thing as an overnight success. I always use, my situation, for example, with this podcast. I got close to 70 episodes. I didn't get there, just overnight. Like 70 episodes don't just come overnight, understand? I had to come up with content. I had to, have it organized, right? I had to continue to do the process because, like I said, like this is more like game day. See, when I'm doing this podcast, this is like game time. This is show time, understand? But I record a podcast maybe once a week, but I'm prepping, 4 or 5 days out the week just to get ready for one episode. I'm prepping, I'm doing the work, I'm trying to deliver content, I'm trying to make it organized. When you see guests on my podcast, you thinking guests just all of a sudden they just come on here. Like in the past, I've had to find guests, I've had to reach out to them. You didn't see the messages where some of them said no. There was people I wanted to have on here and they said no. There was some people that, they said they could and they couldn't. So I had to, readjust. So it's all about going through the process. It's all about going through the process. When I had the co-host for a little bit, I had to find the right co-host in order that would be for the show. And then after that, you didn't realize that, when the co-host left, I had to continue to keep trying to come up with an alternative plan. See, it's all about the process. Like, even though if you make it to wherever you want to be, you're going to still be going through the process. You're going to still have to readjust. You're going to still have to come up with content. You're going to have to come up with ideas. So it's a continuous process that you're going to continue to go through no matter what you decide to do in your life. You're going to always be going through the process more than you going out and performing. Understand? So just remember to embrace the process, embrace the challenges, because when you want to get the Hall of Fame, you're going to have to face some difficult hyenas. It sounded like piranhas. Like I remember when he said that, it sounded more like piranhas because piranhas are deadly. Like piranhas will eat you up. And that's kind of like hyenas in the Bible. When he refers to hyenas in the 1 Samuel chapter 1, it's more like piranhas. They're going to try to eat you. They're going to try to eat you up. They're going to try to eat you up physically. They're going to try to eat you up mentally, right? They're going to try to talk you down. And once your mind is wore out, your body starts to become wore out and your body tends to feel like it doesn't want to do anything. So you're going to have a lot of those coming at you. You're going to have a lot of people that's down you. You're going to have, yourself, that's going to trigger, your mind emotionally, and that's going to make you have doubts about yourself. So don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in the hyenas. Don't get caught up in the naysayers. Don't get caught up in the negativity that you see on the news. Don't worry about that. Just because one person didn't do it doesn't mean you can't do it, right? You will never know unless you try. You will never know unless you go after it. So don't be afraid to go after it. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. And don't be afraid to achieve something that's bigger than yourself. Because if you can see it, that's not faith. Come on, somebody. If you can see it right there, and that's not having faith. Faith is something that is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Come on, somebody. So if you really want to test your faith, you got to dream. You got to have a dream where it makes people go like, where it makes people gasp and it makes people question, is it possible? Because like last time I checked, through God, nothing is impossible. So if you really want to submit your legacy, you got to really have faith and whatever it is you want to do. Don't don't be content with just dreaming about what you can already see. If you can already see it, there's no need to have faith. But faith is something that hasn't been seen before. Like I always reference all these, different companies like Amazon, Target, Walmart, Microsoft, Google, Apple. I can keep going on. When I reference those companies, all those people had faith, and they did because it wasn't seen yet. They had faith. They had some form of faith in the idea that it could come to light. Even Walt Disney, for like Disney World, Walt Disney had a dream of what he wanted to create, and it came to life. See, all those people had some form of faith, whether they knew it or whether they didn't know it. They had some form of faith because it was not established until they allowed it to happen. And with faith, you got to do the work. And with faith, you got to continue to work on it. You only know what you can work on. I can't tell you what you need to work on. I don't know because I don't know what your dream is. I don't know what your goal is. But whatever your goal is, you have to put in the work because faith without works is dead. So you have to get up every day, write down what you need to be doing, and you got to continue to execute, because if you don't execute on it, it's not going to come to light. So in order for your dreams to work, you got to work, because if you don't work, it's just a dream unless you become a reality. And that's by putting in the work. That's by putting in the hours. That's by putting in the sweat. That's by putting blood, sweat, tears, not being afraid to experience people who say no, not being afraid to fall down and get back up again, because we fall down, but we get up. Come on, somebody. We fall down, but we get up. That's a song by Donnie McClurkin. He was my dude, man. He was a famous gospel singer. I remember him singing that song, but it's true, because we fall down, but we get up. By the grace of God, God allows us to get back up and try it again. And you cannot be afraid to continue to keep going after it, no matter how many times you fall, no matter how many times you fail. Failure is a part of life. Failure is the biggest teacher, because sometimes you got to get it wrong in order to get it right. Just like when I tried to cut my hair, okay, I mean, it's better now, right? My dad helped me fix it up a little bit, but I learned through the process. Now I see what I did wrong. Now when I try it again, I know what not to do next time. So sometimes it just takes that ability of not being afraid to fail in order to, be able to create a legacy, in order to be able to get to that legacy status, is being able to try things over and over and continuing to be strategic and continuing to have that plan to where you can leave your mark, not a stain, leave a mark. You know what I'm saying? Because a stain is something that people want to get up out of there. A stain is more of a negative connotation, because when you say that you have a stain, that means you want to get rid of it. But a mark is something that people will remember. A mark is something that people will look back at and be like, man, that's crazy. Like on Hollywood, if you ever been to LA and you see the stars, you ever walk down that boulevard or whatever it's called, and you see like the little stars on the ground, that's a mark. That's an example of a mark, because it's on, it's cemented in the ground. So when people look down, they see, oh man, that's that person. I remember that person. I remember what he used to do. That's a mark versus a stain. So remember, leave your mark, leave your legacy. Don't be afraid to go after it. Don't be afraid to deal with challenges, and continue to live out your purpose. And remember, step towards your purpose. Just like my book, go get your book. It is on sale right now on Amazon as we speak. Definitely go get your copy. But that's about it, man. That's all that I got for y'all today, man. Like I said, I was actually supposed to have a guest on, but she was not able to make it. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier in the show, but she was not able to attend because she was a little under the weather. But that's what I said. Like, that's just what I kind of referred to earlier, is how you got to, be able to adjust. You got to be able to just be able to continue to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And believe in yourself. But yeah, man, like I said, hopefully we can get her on next Monday. Yeah, because today is Monday, so hopefully we can get her on next week. And I'm really looking forward to being able to do a podcast with her. I won't tell you the name, but I'll just keep y'all in suspense. So that's what's going to be going down. But other than that, make sure you follow this podcast on Instagram at Disinfecting Your Life. That's no spaces, no capitals. Once again, follow this podcast on Instagram at Disinfecting Your Life. That's no spaces, no capitals. Also follow me on Twitter. Follow the podcast on Twitter at DISN Your Life and the number one. So again, on Twitter, that's at DISN Your Life and the number one. And then also, I can't forget Facebook for my older generation. If you're on Facebook, follow the community page at Disinfect Your Life. So once again, check out the community page at Disinfect Your Life, where you can get all the latest and greatest. And then also, as always, definitely go get you some merch along with the book. Go get you some merch. I may do a special deal where, you know, if you buy the merch, you can get a free book. So I might do something like that where, like I said, like if you purchase any merchandise, definitely we'll get you a free copy of the book. So I think that's pretty good, man. I'm always thinking on the fly, you know what I'm saying? Always coming up with ideas. Speaking of new ideas, real quick before I head off, I know that I will be doing I'm gonna switch up the series. So for those of you who watch my live, watch me do the What Would You Do Wednesdays, I may do something different. So I'm thinking about doing a series called Know Your Worth Wednesday. So that will come out next Wednesday. So this Wednesday, I'm gonna wrap up the What Would You Do series. I know I've been doing it for a minute because I wanted to switch it up. I know I did a podcast episode on Know Your Worth. So I want to dig a little bit more deeper. Probably have my girl Heather on there. Maybe she'll get her insights. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about doing a different direction, knowing that next month will be December. So I want to try to switch things up a little bit. But anyway, man, that's all that's going down with the podcast. Definitely keep up with your boy and stay tuned for all the latest and greatest that's happening. But all right, man, this your boy, Chris Simmons, coming to you with another podcast. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Take care. Peace.